Today we're talking about system prompts, the hidden instructions that control how AI responds to you. I think when most folks are getting terrible results from AI, it's because they're only using kind of half of the prompting system. They're missing the most powerful part of the equation. System prompts are like having a conversation with your best employee before they talk to a client. You set the tone, the context, the expertise level, and the specific way you want them to handle every situation. The problem here isn't that AI is bad at something, it's that you're only using half of the equation. Think of it like this. Imagine you hire a brilliant consultant, but instead of briefing them on your company, your industry, your specific challenges, you just walk up to them and ask them, "How do I grow my business?" They'll give you an answer that sounds like a lot of BS, probably. And that's exactly what happens when you use only user prompts. System prompts are that briefing that you need. They're the behind the scenes instructions that tell AI who to be, how to think, what context to consider before it ever sees your question. And in the next 15 minutes, you'll learn exactly what system prompts are, when you need them, how to write them with and without AI's assistance, and how they differ from user prompts that you're already familiar with. And by the end of this video, you'll have a complete framework for getting consistently better results from every AI interaction in your business. Okay, to start with, let's just draw an analogy between system prompts and user prompts. So a system prompt is really like a job description, right? And a user prompt is more like a specific task that you want to assign it for today. So give it a role, a title, a background, context, persona, and set of instructions that you want it to follow for every interaction, and then go tell it to do something. So it's back to the consultant analogy. It would be like you are a McKinsey consultant, you work exclusively in the pharma industry, you have background in M&A, and you have a deep experience in finance. You're working at this client, and they have gone through this, particular merger or, whatever new product release. The user prompt would be, give me a specific roadmap on how to roll out this new product. You see the difference between the system prompt and the user prompt here? I think a great way to start talking about system prompts is to look at some incredible system prompts that have been leaked and aggregated on a place called GitHub from some of the most powerful AI tools that you and I use every day. So here on the screen, you can see this person aggregated all of these system prompts for a bunch of models that we use. And so let's look at one. Lovable is a no-code, design and dev tool. And so this is the agent prompt and the system prompt. So it says you are a lovable AI editor that creates and modifies web applications. You assist users by chatting them, right? So it's setting the context. It's telling it who it is. You understand users can give live preview of their application, right? It talks about you follow these key principles. Okay, you're imagining how you might write system prompts for your own business at this point, right? You might write comments, which is kind of a thing in code. State management, which is like kind of how an application behaves. Error handling, performance, security, file operations, right? It's telling it how to do all of this stuff. So we talked about the consultant previously. We've given it a role. You're an AI editor, and we've told it the principles that it should follow. Pretty cool. Okay. So imagine adapting this for your situation. You understand you can only modify allowed files and must use specific commands. Okay. So this is like constraints. You are only able to go into this pharmaceutical company and talk to them about finance. You're not a marketing person, maybe, right? How to respond to a prompt that somebody gives you, files that are allowed, how you want to write this document type. But I think most of all, just look at how long this system prompt is. And a system prompt is something that affects everything else that the system does. Okay, so system prompt affects everything that a AI system or agent or GPT does. It also persists across all chats. So while a particular chat could have a prompt to create a recipe or to give a finance breakdown or to create an image, a system prompt persists and applies across every chat that happens within that system. So if you're imagining you're building a chatbot, you would give it a set of instructions like this. that are really, really super detailed. Hey, you work for this company, you're interacting with people on this website. Here's a bunch of information about our product, all this kind of stuff, right? And then the chats could be like, hey, I need a receipt, or how do I cancel my account, or how do I create a new podcast episode, right? And so the prompts are different. Those would be the user prompts, and the system prompt governs how the system works as a whole. So let's look at another one here. Let's look at Notion, because that is a system that probably a lot of us are familiar with. So Notion, really popular kind of knowledge management and project management tool. And so it's giving it a role. You are an AI agent inside Notion. You're acting via chat interface in either a standalone chat view or chat sidebar. After receiving a user message, you may use tools in a loop until you end the loop by responding without any tool calls. So this is a system prompt for an agent because it's talking about tools. So you could have a system prompt for like a GPT, which we've talked about, or a Claude project, or a system prompt for an agent. Again, this is an overarching thing that's going to apply to everything that happens within an AI system. An AI system can be an agent or a GPT or a project. It's giving it context about pages, blank pages, databases, and the things that they have and can do. Let's see, down here, property value format. So a property is like a tag or a color or something like that in Notion. Let's see, when not to use the search tool, when to use the search tool. So it's giving it instructions on search here. So let's scroll up a little bit, and it's giving it information about tools here somewhere. Okay, Notion as the main concepts are workspace, pages, and databases. So this is, again, like additional context of like, hey, the system that you're interacting with, this is kind of the world. These are the things that you could potentially consider. Okay, so we're going to take this whole thing and do something really cool. We're going to now show you how you can create incredible system prompts for whatever you're doing. So I've copied this entire prompt. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. I like to bash ChatGPT sometimes, but I actually think it's a pretty good prompt creator. So we're going to use AI to create a prompt here. So first, we're going to give it a role. Okay, so I've given it a role. You're an expert prompt engineer with a specialty in system prompts. Task is to analyze the system prompt and give a process for how I could create an equally robust and effective prompt for an AI agent I'm creating. Don't just use the same examples as this, but abstract the ideas and concepts. And then I give it the prompt. And let's see what it does. So we're in ChatGPT 5 auto here. So it'll be interesting to see how long it thinks. This is kind of the rub with a lot of folks with ChatGPT 5 is they've made it cheap. And so it uses this kind of more lightweight model just because it costs less a lot of times. But we really want it to be thinking a lot. I would hope, just based on the amount of context I just gave it, all right, this is a really long prompt because it includes the entire prompt, that it will do a good job here. So it should be done thinking here in just a second. And we'll go through, hopefully it gives us a framework for how we can create really incredible system prompts. If you really wanted to take this to the next level, you could go to this GitHub repo, and I'll include a link to this in the description below. Just check it out. You could go get several other system prompts and just put them all in, right? You could put all of them and say, hey, I'm giving you 5 examples of incredible system prompts. Create a rubric in a system for me to create a prompt like this. Okay, thought for 56 seconds and says, here's a clear teardown of what makes an effective prompt, then a step-by-step process you can reuse. Why the Notion prompt works clearly identifies and scopes. It declares what the agent is, where it lives, and what it can and cannot do, right? It gives it a role. Tool-centric execution loop. Because it's an agent, it has tools. This is one of the 3 elements of an agent, right? The domain model, it names the core entities, properties, and invariants and turns vague expressions into precise actions. This is talking about like workspaces and stuff like that. Opinionated defaults and triggers, cool. Output contract, it dictates formatting, tone, language policy, and citation rules. So it's saying like, hey, output your format or output your results in like plain text. Always be polite, always be helpful, all that kind of stuff. Guardrails, it lists unsupported features, lock states, and overreach prevention. Interesting. I want to go back and look at that because I think that's really important as we're designing AI systems, is like, This is kind of the Wild West. We need to put guardrails in place so this thing doesn't go crazy, right? It says like be gender neutral. If you've determined the user's request could be done in English, if a name is a public figure whose gender you do not know, or if it is a name of an antecedent of a gendered person in the transcript, you should refer to that person in the correct gendered pronoun. Okay, so that's kind of giving us some guardrails. Avoid overperforming, avoid offering to do things. This is where we're kind of setting the guardrails. Examples of things you should not do is contact people, use external tools to Notion except for searching connector sources, perform actions that are not immediate, or keep an eye out for future information. Be especially careful that you're not offering to do things that you cannot do with existing tools, right? So AIs love, this is the hallucination problem, love to just like say they can do stuff when they can't. It's like multiple choice on a test, like just put B, right? That's the answer every time, right? We're kind of putting duct tape over this problem with all these things, is finding specific areas where they probably have seen in the past it offers to do things that the user didn't ask for. And so they have to specifically put this in there, slap that piece of duct tape on it, right? Okay, so back to our rubric here. A repeatable process for building your own agent system prompt. Define mission and boundaries, one sentence character that states the user's job, the user job and success metric, operating environment and visibility limits, non-goals that the agent must never attempt, cool, like negative patterns here, model the domain, so entities, attributes, relationships, and constraints, list allowed operations, describe common states, note unsupported parts of the domain, specifies tools if we're writing an agent, an action loop, so an agent can just go over and over and over until it achieves the thing that it wants to, set decision policies, choose defaults, write response contracts, tone, brevity, formatting, structured, right? So like with this, we could probably write a pretty incredible system prompt. So let's do that. Let's create a system prompt for a personal assistant that we're going to create in an upcoming video. I'll use Whisperflow to do this. Great. Now create a system prompt for a personal assistant agent for me. I am Craig Hewitt. I am a YouTuber and business owner. I will use this personal assistant to connect to tools like Gmail, Google Calendar, Google Drive, including Docs and Sheets, Slack, Telegram, WhatsApp, and Notion. This agent should always respond politely and never ask to do things that it can't do. Ask me any other clarifying questions you have before proceeding with creating the system prompt. So Whisperflow, just a really cool way to just do voice to text. And so I just spoke that, and now it's going to create a system prompt for me. It should, because I asked it to ask me any other clarifying questions before you proceed with creating the system prompt. It should ask me a few questions. Quick clarifiers so I can encode the right rules. Authority and autonomy. Can the assistant send emails? Okay, so I'll just answer these real quick and then we'll go. Yes, the agent can send emails. Any channels, it can only send in Slack DMs. It cannot rename files, but it can create and move them. Gmail permissions, all, Google Calendar, all, Drive, all, Slack, Telegram, WhatsApp. Yes. Notion, it can create and read. It cannot delete. Topics or data, it must never touch or admit. None. Redaction requirements for summaries, none. People or domains that require approval, none. And that's all. Just in the interest of time. Okay, so we've given it a lot of information. We didn't give it all of it just because I don't want to bore you. And so this is the system prompt that I could now put into something like N8N as a really robust system agent that would apply to everything that that agent does within an AI system, or in this case, an agent. As you're creating agents, the scope and the ability of an agent is really important, and the system prompt is 100% of what dictates that. So we're going to be getting into creating AI agents in the channel here soon. So subscribe if you haven't already so you get notifications when those videos come out. But honestly, being really good at writing system prompts is going to be important for us creating really good agents. And you don't have to do this yourself. If you wanted to do it yourself, you could look at the kind of rubric that it created up here and just do this yourself. But gosh, it's just so much easier for AI to do this itself. And then you just don't have to think about it, right? So this is a pretty quick primer on what a system prompt is, where and how you might use it, some really incredible examples of system prompts. And then we created one for an AI agent that is a personal assistant for us that we'll be creating on the channel here in a few days. Okay. So I hope this is helpful. If this is the kind of stuff that you're really after, I've put together a free kind of accelerator program. It's delivered over email, 30 days. I send you an email every day talking about stuff exactly like this so that you as a business leader can go from kind of like AI curious and I know what ChatGPT is to like, I'm creating system prompts, I'm creating AI agents, I'm automating stuff with AI in my business, and I'm really taking myself and my business to the next level. Link is in the description below, entirely free. Send you an email every day for 30 days, and you'll go from like a 2 or 3 out of 10 to like an 8 out of 10 in just a few weeks, right? So I really hope you enjoy it. If you're enjoying, please like, subscribe, but most importantly for me, on a personal level, share this with someone that you think would enjoy it as well and get value. Okay, until tomorrow.